Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with your hosts, Mike Sautter and Jacob Padilla.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Nebraska Preps Postgame here with Jacob Padilla, Mike Sautter. We're going to look back at everything that happened in the last week or so, week and a half maybe, of high school basketball. Some big games happened. And then we will look ahead to the Metro Holiday Tournament, the Hack Tournament, some different holiday tournaments that will be happening in, I guess, the coming week here, weekend/week. But first of all, let me tell you about the Omaha Supernovas. It's pro time in Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas hit the court for the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against Atlanta Vibe at CHI Health Center. First serve is set for 7 p.m. You can get your tickets at Omaha Supernovas pretty much everywhere. See it all over. So go check out some pro volleyball there. Jacob.
Yes.
Let's get to the games. Big games happened.
Yeah. It was,
where do you want to start?
Yeah. Like we discussed last week, there were a few big games, but I mean, half the previous top 10 just took the week off, got into the holiday break. So that not a ton of results, but I guess one off the top, I just want to give a shout out to Neil Mosser. Millard North played Norfolk.
3-point record.
Broke, hit 3 threes, scored 12 points against Norfolk, and passed Nick Farini atop the Millard North career 3-pointers list.
There's been some really good 3-point shooters there. St. Thomas is on that list.
Yeah.
Another guy, he's playing really well, by the way, for Northern Colorado.
Yeah. I saw his brother Major quote tweeted it too and said something like "Congrats" or like "I'm coming for it"
Congrats,
or something like that.
It's gonna go down.
Yeah,
soon.
yeah, exactly. It's like you like hearing that. So Millard North made it into the moratorium undefeated there. They're the number 1 seed in the Metro Holiday Tournament, as we'll discuss. Bellevue West, the number 2 seed, and
kind of continued their solid play, I guess. After winning in Minneapolis.
Yeah, they destroyed Summit Christian Academy down in Kansas City at the Hy-Vee Arena. Won that thing by almost 40. Jane Jackson hit 5 threes. Steven Polchek played well. Robbie Garcia almost a double-double. He's had
Robbie Garcia is playing extremely well. He is if you're gonna go with, I don't know what you're maybe most improved based off of numbers or whatever, he's probably the guy.
He's been a huge key for them during the stretch. It's what was it, like 24-10 up in Minnesota, 14-9 on Tuesday down in KC, and then as we'll discuss now, 16-10 against Omaha Westside. 78-66 win for Westside. We were both there.
Played really well.
Or at Westside.
Or I'm sorry, Bellevue West played really well in that game.
It was back and forth, and then
size advantage.
Bellevue West just kind of what happened like during the second and third quarters, they just got super hot. Like there was a stretch there where I think six straight possessions back to back.
Bellevue West hit 6 or 7 threes in the second quarter, and Westside hit 5 or 6, whatever. Like they both were just killing, just cashing 3.
Yeah, and Bellevue West was able to sustain a little bit longer. He scored 49 points in the middle 2 quarters on 67% shooting, including 8 of 12 from 3. And so they built that lead up to 6. Westside got it down to 8, and then that's missed a couple of free throws. Bellevue West scored, and that was basically the ball game there. So
Westside tried to come back, push back, get closer, and just didn't quite. Couldn't get over the hump.
Yep. Eldon Turner had another great game after the game up in Minnesota. 18, only missed 1 shot all night, hit 3 threes, 6 boards, 3 steals. I mentioned Garcia with a double-double. Jane Jackson didn't play very well, and they still got a win, which is a great sign for Bellevue West. And they got a nice boost off the bench from Isaiah McMorris.
Yeah, he played pretty well.
That was a big key there.
Defensively, it can be key for them. Yeah, he's engaged.
Bellevue West had 21 points off the bench. Westside did not, and that was kind of the key for Bellevue West there. And Westside, they started off the week with a 58-51 loss at Lincoln Southeast. Just 3 of 15 from 3 and 6 of 9 from the line. Southeast didn't shoot great. They only hit 5 threes, 5 of 16, and 11
all
of
5
14
of them were in the first quarter, though.
But
like,
I mean, you look at that difference.
But that was part of it.
Yeah.
Like it was the first quarter run in Westside. Like
it was 25-12 after one.
Right. So
and,
I mean, they hit like 5 threes.
They got it down to within 3 going into the fourth, and just couldn't score enough.
Right.
Only total.
It's a
10
good win
points
for Southeast heading to the HAC tournament. It's a really good win for them.
100%. And Westside got 18 from Kevin Stubblefield, 12 points, 11 boards from Ricky Lofton. But kind of supporting gas, like Caleb Benning had 7 points, 50% shooting, but the rest 14 points on 6 of 22 shooting. That's not going to get it done. Just kind of like in the Bellevue West game, like you look at kind of the guys 5 through 8 in their rotation, 5 through 7 in the rotation, 7 points on 2 of 12 shooting. So they just need to get a little bit more out of their depth pieces because they got more. I mean, offensively, at least they got enough out of their main guys for the most part in these games, but got to get a little help there. And that's kind of Bell West in there at number 2, bouncing back. They're just getting more from their depth pieces than Westside. So Westside will have to rebound here in the Metro Holiday Tournament. But outside that, I mean, Bryson Ball had another monster game for Papio South against Westview, 23 points, 16 rebounds, hit another 4 threes. I mean, Gretna
like every day now.
Yeah, Gretna won by 40 against South. They had 12 players scored, 15 played, so that's a nice little getting a chance to get some guys in there heading into the break. And then basically the rest of the top 10, we no updated coaches poll until we get through the holidays. Mike's kind enough to not bother.
It'll be the 7th, and on the 7th will be the January 7th will be the next coaches poll. So we're waiting through holiday tournaments.
Gonna be a lot of shakeup by the time we get through there. So it'll be interesting.
There's too much change and stuff in last week. Just didn't make sense. Plus it was Christmas Day.
Yeah, and outside of the top 10. Mentioned Southeast got that win over Westside.
Yeah, I mean, Tay Moore is playing pretty well, and Mike McGoy coming over. He's
a guy with kind of some of the departures from that team. He was the one that was going to have a chance to really step in there and have a bigger role, and he's played well. But
Jake Hinkleman's almost averaging a double-double, 8.2 rebounds.
And he did have a double. Hinkleman did have a double-double against Westside, 14 and 11. So they after 2 and 3 start, they took care of business against Columbus as well in the first round of the HAC tournament. So they're sitting at 4 and 3, feeling a little bit better about themselves now. Pius started 1 and 3. Obviously, they've had a tough schedule, played some talented teams, but got a much needed win against Southwest. 61-58.
Tracy Anderson tip in and one.
Yeah, and one put back right at the end of the game there. Finished with 22 and 13 boards. Got 12 out of Parker Kelly, 9 out of Kellen Hum, a couple of threes. Southwest, I got 18 out of Braden Frager, but he only shot 5 of 15 from the field. Got a good game out of BJ Bradford, 16, but just not enough there to hang with Southwest. Team only shot 40% from the field. So good win for Pius there again, heading into the HAC tournament. And then you had the kind of Metro playing games on Friday. The only upset there, like seed line upset, was Bellevue East getting a 51-47 win against Benson. That was the 18-15, although they both kind of going in the same records there. Isaac Ord, 15 points, 9 boards, and 7 blocks. So Trey Tolbert went 9-11 from the free throw line to help them get that win. So that's really all that we've got in Class A. Got any other thoughts? I want to move on to B.
Yeah, no, I mean, it kind of setting it. It's parity, I guess, is the word this year a little bit outside of maybe Millard North. We'll see. But it feels like anyone can beat anybody basically in the top, 12.
And that's why these tournaments should be fun. And I just hate that they're at the same time essentially every year because it's. But I mean, all those teams in Lincoln pretty bunched together from the results that we've seen so far. So the HAC should be fun with that. Obviously, Kearney's the 1 seed there.
Right.
As we've discussed, we need to see them do a little bit better against good teams. It's a chance for them to win, to add some good wins to their resume. And then the Metro, I mean, we're looking at we'll get into this
Yeah,
at the end.
We'll
but
dig into
we're
it.
looking at potential Prep Westside quarterfinal.
Yeah,
Like
second round.
That's what we're looking at. So
Pretty deep.
Gotta say it's got to be.
Okay, let's go Class B quick.
Yeah, no real ranked matchups.
No.
The only notable thing from last week, I think, was the MC tournament starting.
Yeah,
and I was there for a couple of those games.
Elkhorn North got a nice win.
Yeah, first Bennington took care of business against Hastings, who had been receiving votes, 47-37, and Austin Kaiser Jr. their guard. He had back-to-back 20-point games last week. And he was the difference. That game, neither team was really scoring real well. Then he got hot in the second half and kind of pulled Bennington away. And Bennington's obviously Gunnar Lim, who was probably their best returning player, injured from the football season. So they're 5-2 now, playing without him. And Kaiser's the guy that's stepping up for them. And then you mentioned went straight from there to Elkhorn North, and they got a 68-58 win against Blair in the first round. It was also receiving votes in our poll. And Bo Meyer is a pretty good sophomore for them. Big guy, physical, and knocked down some jumpers as well. He had a good game. But the key to the game was Sutton Piatkowski, his first game back eligible with the Wolves there. I don't know if we can ever say
he was back to playing. I mean,
he
wasn't ever there.
Yeah,
he's back to playing.
Yeah, but it was huge. It was Blair was up 1 at half, and started the third quarter with a 7-0 run. And it wasn't looking great for the Wolves. And then Elkhorn North put together a 19-4 run, I believe it was, and mostly it was Sutton Piatkowski and Nike Orgable there, kind of orchestrating that, and they led the rest of the way. Like I said, Piatkowski finished with 20 points, 16 in the second half. Orgebold added 15, had a good second half as well. And then Jace Reynolds, 14 points, hit 3 or 4 threes. All three of those guys are sophomores for the Wolves. So, and they're also starting a freshman, Kellen Murphy, who had to put back his own miss at the end of the half there. So, very, very young team there.
Future's looking bright.
Yes, very much so. So, that sets up all the seedings held in the MC tournament. So we'll have Elkhorn against Elkhorn North, and Norris against Bennington on Friday. And then the final will be Saturday. All those games are at Lincoln Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to be.
Yeah. Okay. C1, C2, anything? You were at UTAN, right?
But Wahoo.
Oh, yeah. Wahoo Ashland. That feels like a month ago.
Yeah. 1 versus 2. That was, that
was Tuesday. Week or
8 days ago now. But anytime you get 1 versus 2, we got to talk about it.
Packed gym, likely maybe it'll be the last regular season game in the old gym at Ashland. So it's kind of neat there's standing room only crowd. Wasn't a great game. It was competitive.
It was a bit of a clunker to start, and then things kind of settled in there.
First quarter was like, oof.
Yeah. Second half was definitely a lot more entertaining than the first, but in the end, Ashland Greenwood pulled it out 63-54 in overtime. Like we mentioned, kind of a clunker to start. Neither team was scoring very well. Help defenses were just cutting off the paint, and Wahoo hit a few threes. Ashland Greenwood did not, and that was kind of the difference. They were up 10 at halftime. The Warriors were 24-14 at halftime.
Yeah,
which is, again, if you've seen
not great
Wahoo games this year, like that's. They're running and gunning and putting up a bunch of points. That was kind of a bit of a change there. But Ashland Greenwood, whatever Coach Mo said at halftime, figured some things out.
Well, they found Derek Tunges.
That was kind of the key there.
They found a way to get him the ball.
20-11 third quarter to get back into the game, and it was back and forth throughout the fourth. Game tied, and Wahoo decides to hold with like 54 seconds left, run it down the last possession. And then they run. So Ashland Greenwood's
I would have held the ball in that situation too, by the way. Come out and guard me then if you don't want to hold it.
Ashland Greenwood is in a zone there, and they run. So Marcus Glock has the ball. Obviously, the attention's focused on him.
Was a very controversial call. Turned out to not be.
And so what happened was Dylan Simons ran along the baseline to kind of curl up. Yes. He chose to go out of bounds, didn't stay in bounds when.
And you cannot be the next person to touch the ball after you run.
And that's the key. Like the next, like there's
though he was fully established back in bounds, where you just can't be the next person to touch the ball.
Yeah, if you intentionally go out, like if you're chasing after,
it could be a minute later. You still can't do it
as long as the person's holding the ball. Somebody else has to touch it before you become eligible again. And again, it's like the intentionally going out of bounds. Like if you and a guy are chasing after a loose ball and you both kind of crash out of bounds, you can get back in and go get the ball. It's different when you choose to go out of bounds. And it's a kind of a ticky-tack call, but it's the reason is so you can't like run out of bounds to try to get yourself open or go like hide on the bench and then pop it. Like there are reasons this rule exists. And it's actually a change this year, the way the rule is enforced. It's now
before it was fully established, right?
Well, before it was like depending on the situation, like if you go out of bounds, like you choose to go out of bounds, like that's a dead ball. Like it's changed to now where you can go out of bounds and it's a play on and unless you're the next one to touch it.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I found out because I was trying to all right, what was the exact call? Because we obviously didn't get it.
Rule change from last year.
Yeah, there's no pool reporting or whatever where we can go ask the officials, okay, what was the call there? So I had to kind of ask about it, and I found the rule and
it made the right call.
Yes, that's basically what it was. Like it's a learning experience there. Just know like, hey, you got to be more precise in what you're trying to do there. Know where the sidelines are. So they turned it over 2 point whatever left, and then Ashton Greenwood didn't really get a shot up. Went to overtime. Simons made the first play in overtime, stole a ball, took it down for a layup, and Wahoo didn't score again. 11-0 run for Ashton Greenwood from that point on to end the game, to pull out the win. So really impressive performance by them after a really bad start. You mentioned Derek Tonjes, 26 and 10, a couple of assists, couple of blocks. He had 24 points in the second half. Just unreal performance. They just couldn't really do anything about him. Only missed 2 shots in the second half. And they got 14 from Dane Jacobson, couple of threes, 4 steals. Dawson Teese had a really good game, 12 points, is efficient, hit it big 3 in overtime. That was kind of the dagger. It's like, wow, he's taken that and he buried it out of the corner. And that was basically ball game at that point. And credit to Drake Zimmerman initially, and then Dane Jacobson once he came in, because Marcus Glock finished with 17 points on 16 shots.
Yeah,
they were 8 free throws.
They were physical with him too.
And I mean Zimmerman did get in foul trouble, but there aren't many teams that have the luxury to lose that guy to foul trouble and have a player like Dane Jacobson, who is a really good offender in his own right, to kind of switch onto him. And Glock got going in the fourth quarter, 11 points in the fourth. Just hitting shots. There wasn't anything the defense could do about. He was just
aggressive, man. Yeah. Like he just was like, I'm taking this and going.
Yeah. But couldn't get him going again in overtime, and Ashland pulled out the win. So remaining atop the C1 rankings there. The other C1 top 10 matchup that I went to was Auburn at DC West. It's 5-6 in our poll.
Opposite in the second half.
Yeah.
Of the other game we just talked about.
Yeah, it was an 8-0 start for DC West. Auburn got back into his back and forth. DC West was up 1 at halftime, and then Auburn put together a 12-3 run to kind of pull ahead, led by 7 after 3. And then it took 5 minutes and 16 seconds for DC West to make a shot in the fourth quarter.
Hey, can I say something real quick? People talk about Auburn and holding the ball and everything. How about it has more to do with their defense just suffocating people, where they can't score, so then the score is so low. Yes, they do hold they have longer-ish possessions, but it's not like they're minute and a half.
So on that, it was kind of a shock to go from all Class A and Class B games to go into this game. And 100% Auburn was holding, not trying to score in the fourth quarter, passing around, turning down shots. Both teams, basically, anytime somebody got it with a minute left in a quarter, whoever had the ball, they held it.
That's what everyone people have done that forever. They're going to do that. That's what people don't like.
And that's why it's changing.
But I also, you need to really watch Auburn play defense, because they're really good. Like defensively, they know what to do. They're well coached defensively on that end for sure. They are physical with you. They just grind out. They make you grind out possessions, which in turn, was a lower scoring stuff, but whatever. It's all going to change. They're going to get a shot clock, so it won't matter.
Yeah, it's coming to C1 too. Auburn only missed 5 shots in the second half, only missed 1 shot in the fourth quarter. And again, it was make you chase us around until we had basically a wide open layup.
Hey, can I say one more thing about shot clock? I've talked to Jim Weeks about this. He goes, yeah, I want to play with shot. He wants to play with the shot clock.
Good coaches will be able to adjust.
So you know what I mean?
Coaching to the rules
he's coached he's coached with it before in the past. We coached in college. So yeah. He's fine with it either way. Doesn't matter. So still going to guard you.
Like I said, Auburn 14 and 19 in the second half, 4 of 6 from 3. Just unreal second half performance there in terms of shot making. Nixon Liguori had 21, only missed 2 shots, hit 3 threes, all of his free throws. Brenton Wenzel had a great game, 14 points, hit 3 threes. Matt Binder almost had a double-double, 10 points, 8 boards, 3 assists. And Peyton Bowden hit all his shots, 8 points, 5 assists. So really a good team effort. Nolan Asher is a sophomore for DC West who led them in scoring, had 12 points there. He's a physical kid for someone his age. He's going to be a good player for them. And then finally, Ogallala went out to Arizona for kind of a holiday tournament trip out there.
Is Ogallala the surprise team?
I'd say
not just in C1. I'm saying like at every.
Well, so they went
C1 3-0 for sure. They're the surprise team.
Yeah, they went 3-0 in Arizona by 6, 21, and 16. So they did get a close game win there. But it also got
when I say surprise, I mean like they're undefeated. They're killing people.
They're 10-0. They were a senior heavy team last year. I think Sawyer Smith might have been the only non-senior starter. Maybe they had one other that is back.
They just lost so much from a team that
Harry Caskey's been hurt too. They've been without him. So like that's the other starter coming back that that they've been without. So it's been Caden Rezak, we mentioned a 37-point game a while ago. Sawyer Smith's really stepped up for them as a sophomore.
This is like all those young guys that saw the success of your Browns and all those guys when they, like you're in 5th, 6th-ish grade that now they're coming, right? So just taking over a little bit.
Yeah. Great start for Ogallala. We'll see kind of as they, I probably personally won't, I think you and I won't see them in person probably until the Heartland Hoops Classic. They'll be in that. So
I think they play
a chance to seeing them.
Louisville tournament.
Okay.
Or they did last year, 2 years. Maybe they don't probably play with the Arizona now with that schedule, but
anyway, good team there. They're sitting at 3 in our coaches poll and will until
they play Bridgeport. Just standalone games. Yeah. They play at Scotts Bluff on January 16th.
Ooh.
You going?
You got a private jet? Get us out there.
5 o'clock game too.
That'll be fun. But and then a couple of results in C2. Amherst, who was number 1 in our poll, 56-49 overtime loss to Gothenburg. It was 16-2 first quarter. For Gothenburg. Amherst got back into it.
It's different levels.
And then didn't score in overtime. So that number 1 takes a loss there. And then Sandy Creek, who was number 5 in the poll, also lost to Donovan Trumbull pretty handily there. Jack Poppy and Parker Volk, pair of sophomores, outscored Sandy Creek by themselves.
Yeah, they're not. Donovan Trumbull. Good.
Very good team. Another team that we'll see in the Heartland Hoops Classic, if not before. So that's kind of all the key results that I noticed. You want me to save shout outs at the end, or do we want to get those knocked out now and then go on?
Knock those out right now. Keep going.
Yeah, just got 3 of them here. 30-point triple double for Potter Dick senior Braden Casson. I know Luke Casson had put up a bunch of numbers for them for years, finally graduated. Now Braden Casson's kind of leading the way. 31 points on 14 to 25 shooting, hit all 3 of his free throws, 10 rebounds, 10 steals, plus 2 assists, and a 66-47 win against Minutair. Mentioned DC West dropped that one to Auburn, but they beat West Point Beamer earlier in the week, and Drake Travis outscored Beamer by himself. 32 points, 13 to 17 from the field, 4 or 5 from 3, 4 boards and an assist, and a 72-31 win for DC West. And then finally, kind of just more of a general shout out for the way he's played this season. Grand Island senior Mukadi Makoma, he had 20 plus in 4 straight games. Over that stretch, He's averaging 25 points on 57% from the field, 46 from 3, and 85 from the line.
He's averaging 24 a game, I think. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's on an unreal run right now.
Hey, real quick, if you wanted to watch Ogallala play a good team, and you could watch another game, make it back-to-back days or something like that, you could watch Ogallala host Sydney on the 12th.
Sydney's a good team.
Yeah. And then on the 13th, you could go to Cheyenne East and watch Scottsbluff play.
If you're hanging out listening to the panhandle,
go out that way. You're just out there for a day or whatever. 2, probably 3, probably, because you're going to Wyoming. But I'm just saying, you have there's your option if you want to do like a double dip, double header type of thing. Yeah.
All right.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's crossing my mind. How about that? Okay. All right. Like we said at the beginning, the Omaha Supernovas, they start their season, their inaugural season on January 24th against the Atlanta Vibe at CHI Health Center. First serve is at 7 p.m. Join the volleyball movement sweeping across the country and see your Major League Volleyball team, the Omaha Supernovas. You can find tickets at supernovas.com and all the information there at supernovas.com.
Yeah, and I'm kind of excited to get that thing up and going here. Chance to see some professional volleyball there, and we've got a Nebraska product, Gina Mancuso-Prososki, playing for the team. So former Husker, in-state product. So
she was pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so. At Papillion Vista.
Yeah.
So
pretty good.
Some notable names on that team. She's obviously kind of the face in terms of local, but they've got some really good players on the team that people have seen play in college. So it should be a fun time to take kids out, watch some high level volleyball.
Yeah.
Speaking of high level hoops, we got some holiday tournaments.
Holiday tournament stuff. There's a handful. Obviously, I think almost everyone plays a holiday tournament, but we're really just going to focus on the Metro holiday tournament and a little bit of the Hack holiday tournament, the two biggest ones, obviously, in the state. And a couple other ones. The Wahoo invite is at Newman this year. That has Wahoo and Mount Michael play Thursday at 5:45. So that's one. And then Seward and Newman play each other. So 4 nice teams. It's a nice holiday tournament. Ashland Greenwood has one. Everybody has a holiday tournament. But those are kind of the bigger games or whatever, right? Yeah. So you could get a Newman and Wahoo game in a holiday tournament championship game. That gym would be packed. Yeah. And Newman's had a great year. So
obviously they got some athletes. We know Connor Shutt, I believe.
Yeah. They've had a really good athlete there. They've had a really, really good year. So yeah. All right, let's move on. Metro holiday tournament. You want to talk girls first? Let's start with the ladies first. Just run down. Number 1 seed Bellevue West. We'll see how fully healthy they are. Naomi White dealing with a little bit of an ankle. They'll get Omaha North, I believe. They won the game versus Omaha South. So
no upsets in the playing round.
No real upsets in the playing round. West Side and Papillion La Vista will be the
8-9
matchup. Should be, an 8-9 matchup. Should be pretty good. Bellevue East plays Gretna in Gretna beat Bryan in the play-in game, so that was there. Omaha Central will play Millard South. Millard South actually played, I thought, pretty well.
Yeah.
Watched them play. I watched that game, the Buena Vista Millard South game, and thought they're young.
Well,
Millard South girls are young.
That's kind of the weird thing. Like it's just after
it started over, totally started over. And I'm telling you,
used to seeing them as the top seed,
sophomores,
and they're in the play-in round.
They have
They
have a bunch of sophomores. In 2 years, they're going to be right back in the mix, maybe even next year. So Millard North will get Gretna East, who handled Omaha Burke. I watched that game as well. And then Marion Papio South. That's a rematch of a game where Marion won at Papio South by quite a wide margin, actually. I watched a little bit of
6-11 there. So
yeah, Omaha Benson and Westview could be a close game, could be a good game. Don't know. And then Millard West and I believe Elkhorn South beat Omaha North West. So,
and that's all at Bellevue West this year.
All
for
the girls are at Bellevue West until you get to the
semis.
So first, these 2 rounds, I guess, if you will, coming up on Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th. Okay, let's talk potential matchups here. Not like we're, predicting anything, but you could get a Bellevue East and Bellevue West semifinal. You could get an Omaha Central Bellevue West semifinal. You could also get a West Side. I could see West Side winning that kind of the whole half.
Yeah.
To be honest,
looking at that potential Millard West, Millard North meeting,
that would be a really good game.
Semis,
they're
going to
play eventually, but that's a good game. One team, Marion, is playing really well this year. They really like a little bit of surprising year, if you will, based off of last year's results. They're playing really well, and obviously Coach Taverdi going through some stuff, but he's a heck of a basketball coach, and he's done a great job in year, I think, 3 now at Marion. So could be really good. The final of the semis are at Prep at 1:45 and 3:30 on Tuesday the 2nd. Yeah. And then the final is at 5:30 on the 3rd.
Yeah.
So could be fun. We'll be out there. There's not a lot of feels pretty chalky, but
that's kind of
what it is.
I think what it is this year. Just looking forward to seeing again, like Millard West in particular, because I haven't seen them play yet. I've seen Bellevue West. I've seen Millard North. Millard West is
pretty
top
good.
Team that
they
I
don't just
seen.
have
I've
the
seen
twins.
Central,
they have a little more than that too.
Calliot
helps.
Taylor Hansen. Yep.
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting a look at them. So that should be fun. I think we're gonna have to. We'll wait to reconvene until after we get through Metro Finals next week. We won't not going to have an early. So the next time we record will be after the Metro Finals sometime Thursday, probably.
We'll try and find a time in there, but it won't be. So let's skip over to the boys' side. Millard North is the 1 seed, like we said earlier. Millard North will play Gretna East. You and I were at the Gretna East Burt game. Tough task for the Griffins in that next round game. That'll be 8:30 a.m. on Friday at Prep. All the boys' games are played at Prep, every single one of them going forward, I guess. And then Central North, that one could be a rock fight.
Yeah. I mean, Bryan, Central North.
Also a little, there's a little background there.
Yeah.
Delron used to be the point guard in North. Now he's a point guard at Central, and there might have been some whatever.
Yeah.
So that one, 10-15 in the morning.
Strong, Dale and Thomas going at each other.
That'll be fun. A little fun. Yeah. And then Gretna and Millard West, I believe, right?
Yep.
I'm just gonna go ahead.
Yes.
That that's the noon game and the 5-12 matchup, and then Papio South and Elkhorn South will play each other in the 4-13 matchup at 1:45. And then West Side and Papillion La Vista.
Yep.
And then Prep Millard South. And then in the bottom is Bryan plays Westview, and which, hey,
rematch
could be a good game, actually.
If Westview learned anything from the first meeting there at the beginning of the season, we'll see kind of what kind of progress they've made as a team.
Coming, man.
I said sophomores and juniors
last year
when you start young.
Before all the changes, people changing schools and stuff. At the end of last year, I was like, "When's the next time OPS makes it to the state tournament? Who's it going to be?" I said, "Hey, it might be Westview."
I think a few of the older teams this year will have something to say
Bryan
about that.
Central is in that conversation, but hey, like.
They're building
could
something
be.
there. Yeah.
I don't know. Like it could be 2 years from now.
And again, all sophomores and juniors. So like they got another year with this core, the same exact group coming back next year. So
the bottom half is Bellevue West, Bellevue East in the 2-18 matchup, like we mentioned earlier.
Seems like we see that matchup quite a bit in this tournament.
There was one pretty big upset I remember at Ralston Arena where Bellevue East.
We were both there.
It's crazy. I'll never forget that game. I'm pretty sure. I think it's something like Bellevue West has won like 23 of the last 25 matchups or something in that game. It's an absurd number. So we'll see how that happens. But let's kind of look at it, we talked earlier, you could have a West Side Prep quarterfinal game on Saturday at 7 p.m.
And that's
at Prep.
And that's why like the six,
it probably won't be packed because of the break, but like still it's a rivalry game. It's 7 p.m. on Saturday. Right?
And that's what you get when we talk about how the top tier is so deep, like 6 teams.
It's really deep.
Any of 6 teams could like be favorites to win a title once we get to the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So that 6th team is still going to be a pretty darn good team. Yeah. So you get a 3-6 potential matchup if seedings
and a Papio South Gretna matchup could be another one. Could be, if the seeds hold, that would be fun. I mean, that's a double header. You can just sit there all day. Millard North and then a Omaha Central, Omaha North winner could be something fun. Not trying to say Gretna East doesn't have a shot, but no, don't feel great about it. Then you look. I just want to see the matchups of like a Papio South and Gretna, and how does Papio South get because Gretna, will defend really well. How does Bryson Ball get his
throw
shot?
A bunch of different looks at him?
Like that'll be super challenging for him.
Reese Kircher is going to be the key there because he had a double last week. He's got to make good plays and hit shots to take some pressure off Bryson for sure.
Well, even just handle the ball and the pressure because you have Wilcoxon and
switching between the zones and
it's be a lot. Try and confuse you a little bit, Coach Hurd over there. So could be fun, and then a potential of a Bellevue West and Bryan. How does Amari Bynum deal with Bell West
pressure
kind of
and
size and switch? And do you put a shorter do you put a Jaden Jackson who's long on him? And I've seen him defend people in the post, or do you just switch? If he comes out, just switch, feel comfortable switching. Probably don't feel comfortable if Steven Polachek is guarding him on the wing, but you feel comfortable if someone, somebody else is. So very be
a good test for Amari, 100%.
It would be a good test for Amari.
We need those guards to step up to provide
Bryan guards, you gotta play better. Okay, then the semis obviously are on the 2nd and at 5:15 and 7 for the boys, and then the championship is at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, January 3rd, and I will not be there for the first time in over a decade. So
but I mean, any combination of those semis into the finals, right? Because like we talked about, how many good teams there are, this should be fun. So this should
be a good time.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have, like we said before, we don't necessarily have the kind of top level 100 like 4-star. Multiple D1 guys on the top couple of teams like we've had in the past, but the upside of that is more competition, more depth of quality, and that sets up for.
Speaking of competition and depth, let's go to the hack tournament because on the girls' side feels pretty deep, I guess, a little bit. You have Pius playing Pius Kearney is a matchup. Kearney just kind of keeps winning, going through some stuff, but they're winning out there. Southwest plays East. North Star plays Southeast. So it's Southwest. Those games are on Thursday, the 28th. But you could have a rematch of like a Southwest Pius, which is the 1 and 2 seed in the championship. And that game, Kennedy Williams basically took over that game the last time they played. So
Pius has to get through Northeast. So potentially if seedings hold there in the semifinal and Danila Washington there, like
Danila's really good. So that one, those could be, but the boys side, let's switch over. Kearney and Grand Island. So how does Grand Island win? Well, you got to try and slow down. You kind of pick your poison a little bit. How do you slow down Ben Johnson? It's a game at Kearney. It's on Thursday, the 28th. At 3:45 in the afternoon, probably not.
That might get the trip out there.
There might be. I don't know. It's a rivalry, man. Yeah. Like the schools don't necessarily like each other. Coaches are really good friends, but schools don't like each other.
Grand Island has the 9 over the 8 of Lincoln High is the only seed upset. Otherwise, all the seedings held in the
and then North Star Southeast is a game. Again, all these games are 3:45. I don't know why. You could have really done could have buzzed around Lincoln pretty well if you did them at
I was looking at that as well.
They probably did it for shoot around purposes in the morning. But Southeast North Star is a game. It's a 4-5 matchup.
Could be fun.
I'm planning on going to that game at 3:45 on Thursday.
You wonder, where is North Star from a player
fully healthy?
Standpoint?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out.
They've been without some key players, which has been great learning experience for their freshmen who have played a lot and had to shoulder the load. But you definitely like to get some of those veterans back to make a run.
And then Southwest plays East, Lincoln East on Thursday.
East pulled at 64-60 over Fremont in the first. I think Carter Mick had 31 in that game. Needed every bit of it.
They're going to need him to score a lot to make a run here. And then so Southwest plays East, and then Pius and Northeast, who Northeast just gets up as many 3-point shots as they possibly can every single game.
Yeah,
they do.
It's kind of the personnel.
It's just what he's playing to the personnel. Exactly.
They lost some really, basically everybody that played for them outside of Isaac Thatch and Brecken Wilkie. So they had to.
So it could if seeds hold again, you could have a Southwest Pius semifinal again. They just played to a buzzer beating shot, which would be fun. And then a
Kearney against
Southeast Northeast matchup, which again would be fun. And that is Friday at 2:30 and Friday at 4:15 are the boys semifinals. And then Saturday, the girls game will be at 12:15 and the boys at 2. So I won't be there, but I'll be paying attention to see how it goes. But I will not be there. And you probably won't be there either.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's okay.
We need to spread these things.
Yeah, can we? For our sake, we need to make them a little bit more spread out. Speaking of spread out, this edition of Nebraska Preps Postgame was very long and spread out, so hopefully it was detailed and gave you what you needed to hear. For Jacob Padilla, Mike Sautter, this has been Nebraska Preps Postgame.